How big is your guilt gland? Has anyone ever asked you this question? I have to say that women, especially mothers, definitely have a larger or more sensitive guilt gland than men. But whether you're a man or a woman watching this video, please listen up so that you can sidestep the manipulation to win at work and life. If you feel bad when your child says things like, "You never give me what I want," and in COVID times, how often have you heard, "But life's not fair"? Or your spouse or partner says, "You always spoil my fun. Other wives and husbands would never do that." Or maybe you do have an overdeveloped or oversensitive guilt gland that you need to get in check. I've always maintained from a parenting perspective that when we feel guilty as parents, we are actually putting our children in the driver's seat. It's the same with your adult relationships too. Someone has said something that hits a nerve and you become easy to manipulate. The more you feel guilty, the harder they will squeeze, calling the shots and often getting what they want. I'd love to know in the comments below how people squeeze your guilt gland. When it comes to entitlement, we always talk about those entitled children, but it doesn't start with the children. It starts with us. And manipulation can only happen in our personal and professional relationships if we allow and enable it. So when is guilt actually healthy? Well, when it's in the form of a stab of conscience, if you have perhaps been operating unconsciously in the world, and if it causes you to make better decisions in the best interests of maybe your own life, your relationships with your colleagues, or even your partner and your children. So when is guilt debilitating? Well, let's go back to entitlement, when it leads to overindulging people in your life, even when you can't afford it, or lowering your expectations of them to compensate for whatever it is that you're feeling guilty about. When your guilt gland is being squeezed and you perhaps want to turn the tables and turn the tide on this manipulation, can I suggest that you say something like this? It's totally counterintuitive. This is what you're going to say to the person who's manipulating you. "You're absolutely right. I never thought of that." And then simply walk away. This will usually take the wind right out of the sails of your would-be manipulator, and they'll let go of your guilt gland in a flash. Guilt is an energy leak that you need to become more aware of in all your relationships, at work and at home, to avoid being manipulated. Please take a moment today to consider who you are allowing to yank your chain and squeeze your guilt gland. If this Start Right tip added value to you, do hit the red button below. If you're not already on my mailing list, click on the link in the description below so that you don't miss any of my weekly tips. Here's to future-proofing yourself to win at work and life.